Heather here with the Wellness Coach. Thanks for tuning in. Wanted to do a quick video today just because I felt the need to kind of go in and tell my story of how I became an integrative health coach and what my background is, because I feel like there's this common, misperception that because I'm now a health and wellness coach, I've probably had it easy in the world of health and fitness, or I've just always kind of had these good habits and all that kind of thing, which is entirely false. So I wanted to do a video because I want my clients to understand, and people out there watching this to understand, that I know where you are right now, or where you might be right now, if you are feeling a little bit confused about your body, and also how to fit nutrition and fitness into your life in a sustainable way. I definitely have never had it all together up until maybe the last 3 to 4 years, I'll say. I was definitely a very insecure child. I think I always had body image issues starting from the age of 4. And I know many people will say, well, 4 years old, that's crazy. Like, you don't even understand your own body, or you're not making those comparisons at the age of 4. I was. I actually have a very, very clear memory of going to preschool with another girl in the car. I think it was preschool, or running errands with my mother, one or the other, and very clearly noticing there was a distinct difference between the size of my thighs on the car seat and the size of her thighs on the car seat. And that was when it hit me, and I was about 4 years old. Yeah, I was really young. And it wasn't anything that, was ingrained in my brain, or, my parents didn't tell me it was beautiful enough or anything like that. It's just something I've always been insecure with. So it started from that age. I started to notice I was built a little bit differently than the majority of the girls I grew up with. And this continued. I had extremely, twig type friends all the way through elementary school and then into middle school. And middle school was extremely awkward because obviously your body starts changing more, and I had just never been happy with my own. So to go through that on top of it was extremely confusing, and was very hard to accept myself the way that I was when I felt like I should look a different way, or why don't I look like my friends do, or whatever the case might be. And then going into high school, that just continued to be exacerbated. You're always trying to be looked at a certain way or fit in with the right people. And even if you say you don't care, deep down, a lot of us still really do. And I could say, I didn't really freaking care all that much, which maybe that's 50% true. But there was definitely an inner voice, 50%, that was like really hard on myself if I felt like I didn't measure up to the rest of my friends or the people that I felt like I wanted to be hanging out with. So I will say this led down a track for me for about, 8+ years of constant up and down, hardcore restriction dieting, and then kind of completely falling off. I definitely had a case of orthorexia for many years. I will fully admit that here on out. I have had journals and journals and journals filled, these Mead spiral books, 5-subject notebooks filled with every single calorie I ate for years, to the point of obsession. So, recognizing this habit though, where I felt like I was getting control over my body, it was a completely false sense of control, mind you. I recognized a habit that really needed to stop. I was definitely probably doing my body more harm than good. I was definitely doing my mental state more harm than good. And I wasn't working on the self-love that I really needed to in order to sustain a proper fitness program and treat my body the way that it really needed to be treated. So that's when, I really started to dig deep and figure out exactly how my body functions and start to appreciate it for what it really was, and the differences that, my body had versus other people that I've been comparing myself to for many, many years. So I will say it has not been until maybe 4 years ago where I started to really look at this completely differently and focus on it intentionally. I was a Beachbody coach for a period of time, which I'm not really actively doing now, so I'm definitely focusing on wellness coach at this point. But some of you might know me from doing Beachbody coaching, and I will say that it definitely helped to change my perspective in regards to how to train your body and how to feed it right, in a way that was manageable and understandable. And from then, I really took those tools that I was learning and I customized it to my own body and my own lifestyle and all of that. And I really started to see the benefit of when you feed your body right, how your body can respond to that. And I'm not just talking physically, because I had wonderful physical changes too. I'm talking in your daily life, how you think clearly at work, your energy throughout the day, just how you overall carry yourself in general. It's completely different when you're feeding yourself correct, cooking for yourself, making the right foods, going to the farmer's market, all of that, choosing organic over non, versus, a diet that's 80, 90%. I'm working all the time, I'm stressed out all the time, I'm eating out all the time. And not really knowing what's in your food. And you're not, on top of that, likely training your body. So definitely understanding how to treat my body, because it is the one body that we get on this planet, and it can change your entire experience of this one life. That is what started to change my perspective. So once I really understood that is when I started to understand that there is a whole different subject here of mind, that feeds in with body, that I really wanted to dive into in order to help people to better sustain their own fitness goals. Because I've been fairly consistent now for the last 3 or 4 years. I think this is the most consistent period of my life ever. And I really, truly cannot wait to share this with anybody out there who's really struggling with constant up and downs and yo-yo diets and working out this one way and doing all this cardio and it's not working and it's just getting frustrated and you never feel like you have true control over your lifestyle and your body. If there's anything you should have control over in this life, it's your freaking body. And I can't say enough how much lifestyle plays into that. And that's going to be a whole nother video. Definitely going to talk about that. But what I want to talk about more today is, yes, that's my story. And yes, I've now grown into this person through a lot of trial and error. And I am here to help people to kind of cut through those roadblocks a little faster. I've taken the long route, that is definitely for sure. But a lot of my training definitely focuses on this mindset. It is definitely primarily, I would say, mindset first, training your mind first, and then your body follows. A lot of people have the reverse look at fitness and they think it's all about the result and the body and what am I seeing in the mirror, when it's really what's happening up here in retraining this brain. There's this analogy that I always use. I actually used it in a coaching session yesterday, where if you imagine a horse carrying a cart and pulling a cart through a forest, and there's a clear path ahead of him and he just keeps going up and down this clear path. You might see another path down in the distance, but it's all grown over. There's weeds, there's rocks, maybe some fallen trees, things like that. So the horse is naturally going to want to continue down its clear path. So a lot of just reshaping our habits are about taking a chance on that, run over path and taking the detour and wearing down that old path so that the old path you were previously walking on that was completely clear starts to become overgrown. This is very much how our brain works in terms of our neuron functioning. You really do need to work it like a muscle. And yes, the horse is going to want to continue to go back to that clear path instead of going down the lesser used one. It's just natural, animal instinct, and we have that too. But if you were to continue to go down that rougher path, the rougher terrain, you will see that path too will start clearing out, and it will be much more clear than the old path previously was at one point. And when you see that point, man, it's going to change your life, because you've now established really solid, firm habits that are now on autopilot for most of the time, or without them you start to not really feel like your best self and you quickly come back to implement them. So that is what I'm here to focus on with people. Everybody has an inner athlete. You just have to tap into it. It really is about just getting started, which I think is the hardest part. And once you're able to gain some momentum, start with some small steps. And if you gain some momentum, then it carries you into a new realm. And that process continues to repeat. You just have to find your motivation. What is that source of motivation for you? Is it how you feel in your body? Is it for your children? Is it so that you just can think and move better throughout the day without, self-confidence issues, just carrying yourself differently? Everybody has this fight in them to really be an athlete. You're an animal. You're meant to do this. Never doubt yourself, and take a look at everything going on around you. What is influencing you? Where are these negative thoughts that you may have about yourself and your life and your body coming from? Because 10 to 1, if you continue to keep falling off track, the source of your motivation is not coming from a genuine source. So lock into that. Understand that you are beautiful and you are meant to be different. And there are many different ways that you might need to be nourished versus somebody else next to you. So that is what I love to work on with some of my clients. I just thought I would share my journey because it definitely is not easy. It has not been easy, but I'm definitely proud to be in a place where I can now help other people with that. So with that said, now you kind of have a better understanding a little bit more of what I do with integrative coaching. And I look forward to talking to you guys in the next chapter because we're going to talk about lifestyle. All right.